Welcome back to our conversation with Governor Charlie Baker. And Governor, one more thing about transportation here. Before you took office, the State Department of Transportation, Mass DOT, that bureaucracy was expanded to include the T, the Registry of Motor Vehicles, and other organizations. Turnpike, yeah. And certainly in the case of the RMV violation processing fiasco, we see how in a large bureaucracy, problems that need fixing can go unaddressed. They get lost in the great black hole of the bureaucracy. In hindsight, was that consolidation a mistake?
There were a number of reasons to do that, and the point behind it originally was to create kind of a holistic approach to transportation generally, which conceptually I support. With respect to all the issues around the registry that have to do with the out-of-state violation processing, that's just a major fail, and a horrible tragedy occurred as a result of it. And once it was brought to the attention, what had actually happened was brought to the attention of the Secretary's office and our office. I mean, the part that's unfortunate about this most of all is, you know, in a matter of weeks, we managed to make a ton of progress on cleaning that up, and I wish we'd known about it, because if we had, we would have.
But isn't it your philosophy, part of your philosophy, that smaller organizations are more nimble, more efficient, can get the job done better? And yet here we have smaller organizations, not necessarily all a model of efficiency, but they're absorbed into this giant bureaucracy, and we've seen some negative fallout from that, haven't we?
I think the hard part about this is the answer, generally speaking, to smaller versus larger, consolidated versus separate, is you can usually make an argument for one or the other depending upon the circumstances at the time. I think the decision people made to put the Turnpike and the T and the Highway Department together was based on this idea that, and the registry came in because it's obviously got a lot to do with the same basic elements. The idea was, if you create a unified approach to this stuff, you'll get a better product in the end, a more holistic look at it. And I think in some cases we do. I mean, we have figured out in many cases opportunities when you think about coordinating road work and work on public transportation and work on the Turnpike. There are advantages to having those three things playing together. And then there are other instances when it's pretty clear that having them apart would work better. But I'll give you another example of where it didn't. The connector, right? Yeah. Which was completely broken for several years. That was one of the things that we did fix after we took office. And the whole reason they set that thing up as a separate entity was so that wouldn't happen, and it did anyway.
Look, we're running out of time for this week's portion of our conversation, but I just got to slip this in. As you know, this is kind of a pet peeve of mine, the State Gaming Commission. I mean, you've resisted my characterization of it in the past. It's a fiasco. I'd like to know if you still do, in light of the fact that Everett is way underperforming its projections. The slots down at Plain Ridge are struggling, and MGM Springfield is a disaster. Isn't it time for fixing the mess we've made out of legalized, expanded gambling?
Well, I think it's hard. I mean, part of the reason I was always a big fan of doing one was because I wasn't really sure what the play here in Massachusetts would look like overall, just given the market generally. And I think one of the things that the Gaming Commission needs to think about, as well as those three players you talked about, is what is going to be what we would call steady state here on a go-forward basis, and then plan accordingly. I think you know, what the MGM facility did for that part of downtown Springfield, you just can't deny. I mean, they completely remade it and reimagined it in a way that's far better than it was before. And there are a lot more people there visiting, going to the restaurants and all the rest than they ever had in that part of Springfield previously. What Encore did to clean up Mystic Valley, I mean, the Mystic River, you can't, that's a beautiful thing that they did there. But there's obviously a big discussion that needs to be had about what is going to be steady state here and what's a reasonable expectation with respect to saturation.
Yeah. All right. Our time is up for this week, but please, everyone, join us next Sunday when our conversation with the governor will continue.
Thanks,
Governor,
John.
thank you very much.